Hope you find it in your heart to forgive me. You feel me? Feel me?
I talk about jail a lack of that made me a man. Try your best to hold me down. I know you did what you can. Pops always told me, never depend on another man's hand.
To Always Auburn.
Never listen to what
Your
another
host,
man saying. But I fuck with you,
Tyler
girl. Talk
Craig.
about putting a baby in there later home jail, might move with you, girl. And I ain't saying nothing, you talking about tell a nigga what you really wanna do, girl. Take you on the Savage Street, spend.
All right, we're back at you Thursday afternoon with Always Auburn. The excitement is in the air. It is brewing. We are getting closer and closer to probably the biggest game in Hugh Freeze's career so far at Auburn University. It almost seems like everything just built up around this game, just the entire resume of what he has put on the field for the past 2.5 years is really going to all come to a head Saturday night in Jordan-Hare under the lights. And it can either go one way or the other. It can do a lot for the healing of and the looking past a lot of his downfalls and his mistakes and disappointments so far in his career. It can really mend a lot of that, and us Auburn fans can be very forgiving for those moments that we feel like we were let down by the coaching staff in the wake of a big win Saturday night in Jordan-Hare. So it's a lot. It's just a lot. It feels like everything is around this game. Like it is just the entire university, the entire fan base, the entire football program. It feels like it can either go one way, and if it goes one way, we might just take off to the top, or it could go the other way, and it could really get bad for the football program. So let's hope we're going to remain optimistic and hope that it goes the way that will take us to the top, the upward trend that we all know we're capable of reaching at Auburn University. I feel like as a coach right now, Hugh Freeze is in such a interesting point in his career, such a point where he could really, if it's within him, he could really make a mark. I mean, I know some coaches probably would live for this opportunity to know that, okay, things haven't gone all the way our way, but right now at this point in my career at Auburn, I have gotten everything kind of bound up to where I want it. I got my players. I've been in the program for a few years. I've gotten the coaches where I want. I've took control of the play calling, which all this was he was in control of. This was given to him on a plate, and it was said, "Okay, Coach Freeze, what do you need here to be successful?" And the athletic director, the boosters, the university, the fundraisers, everything that is involved in that process gave him everything that he asked for on this plate. And so it's up to you, Coach Freeze, if you're going to clean your plate, if you're going to eat it, if if everything you ask for on this plate, if you can handle it and you can devour it, because it's a metaphor, but that's really what this is. And some coaches would live for this, just the chance, like, and it's so just storyline. I mean, everything you would ask for in a great comeback story, in a great redemption story, in a great story of, okay, we're finally over the hump. I mean, we've took shot after shot, chin blow after chin blow. We hadn't been knocked out, but we've been knocked down many of times. We've grabbed hope. We've held on to hope. We felt like we've gotten so close to getting back to the glory of our football program. And here again, and maybe this was what it was meant to be. Maybe it was meant to be, hey, you're going to have to take the valleys, and you're going to have to, and you're going to feel like you're coming out of these valleys in certain moments. I think about Jordan-Hare a few years ago in the Iron Bowl and the Gravedigger play. And it's all going to be snatched out from under you every time you think you get close. You know, the Oklahoma game a few weeks ago, what did we have last year? We got Texas A&M gave us a lot of hope when we won that game, and then we turn around and, don't perform well against Alabama, do a lot of things that a lot of football programs could have won I mean, I think Alabama turned the ball over 6 times, gave the ball to Auburn 6 times, 5 or 6 times in that game. There's not a lot of good, you know, top 15 all-time college football programs that you can give them 6 turnovers in a game and they don't find a way to win. But we weren't able to do so. It's just everything leading up to this. It's so there's so much of a dramatic storyline to it, and I really feel like this is do or die. This is step up to the plate, and it can all be forgiven. It can all be forgiven. It can really, this may, but we're Auburn. We're dramatic. It's fine fashion over here. You think of all the big victories, the kick six, the prayer at Jordan Hare. You think of all the fear of the thumb years, the 6 in a row, the arising of Pat Dye and bringing Auburn out of the depths of just embarrassment and loss after loss to the dynasty that the Paul Bear Bryant era had with the Crimson Tide. I mean, when you think about it, the probation years with Terry Bowden, but we don't care. Don't put us on TV. We're still going undefeated, and we're gonna knock everything off that comes in front of us. I mean, when you think about the 180-yard touchdown, first play, go crazy Cadillac, first play of the game, send a message. I mean, everything, just the big moments in Auburn football history can all point to that. This is us, dramatic. When the moments at its greatest, when we're at our most desperate times, it changes, and we find a way to make it change, and that speaks to the resiliency of the team. That speaks to the resiliency of our program, and the perseverance that we live by, and that is engraved in our minds and in our hearts and our bodies as Auburn University supporters. And it's just all boiling right now, I feel like, and it can be an amazing explosion Saturday night in Jordan Hare Stadium under the lights against the much hated Georgia Bulldogs, who we have a very bad taste in our mouth for. We don't like Kirby Smart. We don't like Uga. The red and black stuff is ugly, in my opinion. If you ask me I wouldn't even say the Tide. If you ask me who's got the ugliest uniforms, in definitely the SEC, but you could ask me who's got the ugliest uniforms in college football, and I would tell you that black and red, gray, white mixture that they wear over there in Athens, Georgia. I think it looks like garbage, straight garbage. But nevertheless, that's neither here nor there. I feel like Saturday is that opportunity. I'm putting my hope in it. I'm putting my faith in it, and there can be a lot of jubilation, celebration, just the magnitude of what this game can do for the football program is huge in the eyes of the fans, and it can really determine Hugh Freeze's fate at Auburn, and not even just his fate at Auburn. Like Coach Freeze, football is a proud. You got to be you. Football is a proud game. It's built on pride. About regardless, we're tough. Regardless of the stakes, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna get better. We're gonna get better. You're gonna knock us down, but we're gonna get back up. And that's a part of the game that we all love. And Coach Freeze, as an ambassador of the football game, as a head coach, that is something that I know reigns dear in your heart. Your ability to be resilient and get through these tough times, and not just about your career at Auburn University, but your career as a football coach. This can really speak for who you are as a head football coach of the game of football. That this man was tough. This man had the same character traits that the legends have, that Pat Dye had, that Bear Bryant had, that Nick Saban had, that the grit, the toughness that comes with it, that you have to have, the ability to overcome. You could make your name, plant your seed in that history of football if you can turn this thing around, and it starts Saturday in Jordan Hare Stadium, Coach Freeze. We're with you. We're behind you. It's going to be sold out, all orange, all Auburn. The players, they look to you. They look to you, and I hope they see confidence. I hope they see a man standing on himself and his program and and refuses to be defeated. That's what it's got to be. And I'm going to stop right there with all that. This really did not. I did not come into this episode to be a cheerleader and lay it all on the line with a motivational speech for Coach Freeze and the fan base. I just got carried away. That's how much passion's in my heart for the Auburn Tigers. I'm going to tell you that now. But I got on here because I really wanted to talk about the special teams. Something that has really, it's been a question, but with the off week and the struggles we saw on offense against Texas A&M and against Oklahoma, and we did struggle on special teams against Oklahoma, and it was talked about a lot prior to the Texas A&M game, but I think it's kind of been overlooked and swept under the radar a little bit with just all the struggles with the offense, the questions about Coach Freeze, and the bye week, and then Georgia coming to town. We haven't really delved back into the special teams, but I think back to the Texas A&M game, it didn't get us in trouble, and we did make a short field goal in that game, which that's a start. That's showing progress. I do, hey, something's better than nothing in that regard. But it was not really mentioned, but I want to say two of those punts, and if you think I'm wrong, I encourage you to go back and watch the film. But I believe two of those punts that we kicked to Texas A&M, those snaps were low. I think one in particular, one of those balls, the young man really had to pick the ball up off the ground. He just got it off. And that's a point of emphasis. That is a problem. It's like I will continue to mention it until I can't talk anymore. It is a game of details, and we can't have low snaps because that creates the chance of the ball flipping around. That football, one thing they taught us playing football, everybody who played football, is that ball is shaped very odd, and there's no telling which way it's going to bounce. It's not like a basketball. It's not like a baseball. It's not like a tennis ball. It's not round. And it can go this way. It can go this way. And it's hard to read that. It's not necessarily just easy. You can't read it off the ground like you can something round. So with that being said, you always pose the threat when there's bad snaps that ball gets away from you. And we cannot have that. We have got to be sound on special teams, I feel like, to beat Georgia Saturday. I'm going to give you a case in point, and there's many of examples of this in the past through Auburn's history and just the history of football, how important special teams is. I mean, Frank Beamer made a whole career out of it that got him in the College Football Hall of Fame at Virginia Tech because he understood the way that special teams can change a game. So with that being said, I was watching, I reflect a lot. So I was watching the 2017, I was watching a rerun of the 2017 Auburn-Georgia game when Georgia came to Jordan-Hare the last time that we beat the Georgia Bulldogs. And people forget in all the glory of that game, Kerryon Johnson scoring the winning touchdown, going up not winning touchdown, but the last touchdown of the game that really sealed the blowout on the screen pass going up the sideline. And then people think about when Ryan Davis caught the tunnel screen early in the second half and took it about 40 yards. And that was a big punch. That was a big blow to Georgia. And it really started giving us that feeling that, okay, we're fixing to blow these folks out, which we ended up doing. And but what gets overlooked in that game is that the first quarter, everything wasn't clicking on all cylinders on our offense. Now, we were playing great defense, but Georgia took the opening kick, and they took the ball probably 80 yards down the field on a good, methodical drive where they were balanced. They ran the ball. They got first downs, and they scored. It was a big punch, big blow that they delivered on that first drive of the game, and went up 7-0. And Auburn continued to struggle throughout the first half on offense. We kept decent field position, which led us into the opportunity to kick field goals. And Daniel Carlson kicked 40, 50-yard field goals throughout the first half of that game. I want to say one was 50, one was in the 40s, and he might have had one in the deep 30s. But, those are field goals we're not making right now. And what it did was it kept us something is always, we don't want field goals. That's not the goal on offense, but something is always better than nothing, especially when your defense is continuing to perform. And when they kept getting Georgia off the field, we weren't scoring touchdowns, but we were chipping at that lead. And eventually we took the lead just on field goals. It turned out to be 9-7. And before Auburn, we kicked 3 field goals. And before Auburn really got it rolling on offense, and I think the offensive coordinators and Jarrett Stidham kind of was like, okay, enough is enough. We're fixing to start taking some shots at this secondary Georgia's got. And if it gets picked off, it gets picked off. And we all know what happened. You know, Stidham late in the second half, I want to say about 4 minutes left in the second quarter, or in the first half, late in the first half, I want to say about 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Stidham threw a deep ball to Darius Slayton, about a 50-yard touchdown pass that he just won. You know, it was a 50-50 ball. It wasn't a great ball, and he just won. He just beat the defensive back and pulled it down and scored a touchdown, fell into the end zone and scored a touchdown. And that kind of carried us over into the second half, where our offense really started rolling and we started putting touchdowns on the board instead of field goals. But I'm not so sure if that game goes so smoothly if we weren't able to get 3 and then get 6 and then get 9 before our offense started rolling late in the first half. So it's a prime example of how it can be overlooked, and you take for granted how important field goals actually are to winning football games, but they are very necessary because it is a game of details, like I continue to say. And let's say it was 7-0 with 5 minutes left in the first half, and our defense was not getting rewarded. You know, we weren't seeing the game on the scoreboard change during the game. The defense continued to get stops, but the offense couldn't produce, couldn't put anything on the board. That eventually takes a toll on the mentality. And who knows, our defense might have got discouraged. Georgia's offense might have, okay, we're still up 7-0. You know, momentum plays a huge factor in football games. We've seen it. The crowd could have got restless, and you got to see that score start changing. So field goals are extremely important, and I hope that they have made a point to get this all figured out, because I'd hate to go into this game and not have our best guns and not have everything just in the chamber that we can throw at them. And special teams is a big part of the game. I hope they clean the penalties up on the kickoff returns, because guess what, man? We got some guys who can bust it. And that's a huge part of the game. That can change a game. That we saw it this year. Baylor had good momentum. They just scored a touchdown. Even though their defense couldn't stop anything, their offense was rolling, and they were feeling good about themselves, and we took it all back in one play, one big touchdown on a kickoff return. So if you got guys like Rashawn Pleasant, track star type athletes who can stretch the field on a kickoff return, Malcolm Simmons who can stretch the field on a punt return, he's dangerous anytime he's got the ball in his hands. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot by making stupid, coachable plays like holding and blocks in the back on these special teams opportunities. So special teams is going to be big. And tomorrow, hey, it's Friday. Boy, we're getting close. I'm excited. I'm going to come at you with probably 3 keys to the game. And I'll think about them, 3 major keys to the game. I'll give you a score prediction. We all know who I'm going to pick. It's just not in my heart. I can't pick against them. We're going to win the football game. You're going to have to show me we're not. And I'll think that until the clock strikes 0 Saturday night in Jordan-Hare Stadium. So everybody have a good rest of your day. Things are looking up, man. And we'll be back at you tomorrow. War Eagle.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.